Hello, good morning. Good morning. It's me, deprogramr, Dan Rocca. I'm at home drinking my coffee as usual. I just filled myself up with a really nice bagel, and now I'm ready to discuss the non-aggression principle. The non-aggression bagel. I will be discussing the non-aggression bagel today. Now, I was thinking about the non-aggression principle. Okay, so it's been sort of critiqued in 6 ways from Sunday. It's definitely like an idea that is a very tough abstraction that is, an axiom that you can't necessarily easily apply to the actual real world conditions. I understand that. But what I'm thinking about this morning is there a requirement for a shared metaphysics among people in order to long-term solve larger scale problems? Or is the world made up of multiple battling metaphysics ultimately gauged by force? So, like, is there actually a requirement? Like you see this with a lot of religions, right? Religions, they try to, especially monotheistic religions, that, well, maybe not, maybe pantheistic religions would do this too, but monotheistic religions have, a lot of them have had these sort of cleansing crusades or something, right, where they're trying to rid the world of anybody who doesn't believe in their ideology. Now, like, someone like Francis Fukuyama is of the persuasion that liberal democracy, well, I don't know, maybe he changed his view, but liberal democracy is the sort of end of history, right? So that's his kind of understanding. And now, is that something that, is that like a crusade? So is the UN in essence like sort of doing its own crusade in the world, also characterized by force, let's say, or the WTO, or these larger global entities? Are they essentially another form of metaphysical entity with their own crusade happening in the world? And okay, so back to the NAP. Is the NAP something that everybody could agree on? Well, I mean, most people would probably. I'm making a slight assumption here, but this is an inference more than an assumption. Is most people I've found don't want violence to be used against them aggressively. So most people would agree that that's something they don't want. So from there to almost like use this kind of Rawlsian social contractual method, okay, if we can all agree on that, that means the goal is to minimize the use of aggressive force. So basically, when you're confronted with a problem, the idea is not that we're going to be rid of problems, but the idea is that you want to plug in almost every problem to this axiom and ask yourself, can this problem be solved without using force? And then the only time that you require force is if there's force being used, and you basically have to just use proportional force to defend yourself against it. But then at the same, okay, so why hasn't this idea taken hold? Well, that's a very good question. How come we can't share metaphysics? Is it just history? I mean, is history the only thing holding people back from sharing a metaphysics? Or is it actually something that's more, what's the word? Identity driven? Is there an identity driven nature to metaphysics? I mean, I think all these questions are maybe like, yes, but then I think a lot of, I mean, it seems like we tend to overcomplicate the nature of rules in society, because we don't have shared metaphysical principles to kind of point to. And I don't know. I mean, again, it goes back to this kind of Krishnamurti idea of like ridding yourself of conflict, sort of at a holographic level, like understanding that conflict is happening in here, and then it's also happening out there, and they're sort of interrelated. Like, and then how do humans kind of, do our ideas come from sort of our shared experiences, or are we really creating metaphysical entities external to ourselves, listening to them, like, because they're larger than all of us, right? They're a sort of creation, they're fictions, and they exist outside of the human sort of, they exist in the world only outside of each individual human. It's almost like we can, whenever an individual human does something wrong, you can point to this like grander conception that a bunch of humans came up with together and say, oh, you're not listening to the grandiose conception. There's a simplification to that, right? But how useful is it? And to get into the specifics of the NAP and pollution and things like that, I'd love to discuss those things more, but it's not really what I'm talking about today. I'm more just interested in the need for a shared metaphysical entity. Aside from maybe an entity is the wrong word, but a shared metaphysic at the very least. Is it possible for people with completely different notions of metaphysics to actually share a conception of the universe that will work for both parties? That's maybe the question that I have. I don't know, maybe it's rambling, I don't know. Maybe it makes no sense. Let me know in the comments. Come on and talk to me. Destroy me. I would love to be destroyed. All right. Well, I think I'm just going to make it quick today because it's morning and it's Friday. It's going to have a good time. Everybody enjoy your weekend. I'm going to go to the studio and make some prints now. I have so much to do. And I'm sure you do too. So have a great day. Just wanted to do my little ramble in the morning. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the future. Bye-bye.